All right, we're back. We're gonna get right into it. Cross leg. Okay. Gonna start off on the sits bones. Knees square. Hip flexors are engaged here. That's the exercise. Hold this and take a few deep breaths. Core engaged. And bring your core toward your knees. Straight back. All right, and lean back to increase the core engagement a little bit. Keep your legs just where they are. Legs are just as active as they were, but now you're relying on your core to keep you upright, and you'll feel this in your low back as well. That's also your core. If you want to get a little bit of movement in here, you can turn your shoulders in a twist. Getting a little tired. That's good. Okay, we're going to lower down to our back now in just a moment. Keep that core engaged the whole way down. We're going to go real slow. And we're down. All right. Lower back flat on the ground. Head to the ground. You can bring your shoulder blades together underneath and bring your hands up into a kind of goalpost arms, extended goalpost arms kind of pose. Now, with your shoulder blades engaged, activate your whole core and slowly, with your lower back flat on the ground, slowly lift your legs up to a 90-degree angle. This is core work we're doing. Take nice full breaths. All right, and bring your knees to your chest. All right, we're just relaxing here into this pose, resting the lower back. Rotate your legs nice and slowly and in control. Take this opportunity to relax. Take a few deep breaths. Alright, give your legs a little bit of a pull. Let's increase the stretch a little bit, okay? Find the whole range of that stretch. Right, there's a stretch along the entire edge of your range of motion. And you want that edge to be evenly distributed, and you want to smooth it out by giving the whole edge of your range of motion some love with your stretching and with your muscle activation. Okay, we're going to come into a plank position. Arms straight out ahead. Shoulders are set into your back and they're down away from your ears. And unarch your back and come up into a plank. So your back is a nice straight line with your core engaged, and your shoulder blades are doing a lot of the work here to keep you in this plank. Okay, you're not pushing your shoulders out in front of you; they're set back into your on either side of your spine, and the muscles in your shoulder blades are engaging to hold them there. Make sure once you have your shoulder blades engaged, you don't arch your spine. So curve your pelvis towards your face to get a nice straight upper back and a nice straight, well-supported lower back. Okay, we're gonna hold here for just a few more seconds. Take some good breaths. All right, and knees come down. Whew. All right, feeling good. Okay. You can come back up onto your knees. Sit on your heels. Spread out your toes and get some nice activation through your feet. Shoulders back, posture up, sternum outward. All right, arms out to the side. Nice, easy, well-supported spine. Shoulder blades activating as your arms lift here. And they stay in that alignment with your shoulders nicely back. All right, we're gonna hold in a nice big T. Keep your spine nice and straight. Keep your head facing forward. Feet are really feeling the activation here, all right? My feet are fully activated, pushing into the ground, keeping me upright. I'm not sinking into the weight of my butt. It's coming through the force of my feet. Weights in my feet. And in those muscles along the front of my legs. They're doing a workout here to hold me here. These are the muscles that connect the lower leg into your knees. And so theoretically, if I pushed hard enough, I could lift myself up like that. But I don't have that full muscle system well developed enough that I could do that without hurting my knees. So I'm working on it right now. Not letting any pressure go into my knees, but making sure it's all being supported by muscle. All right, arms are out to the side. Push them out all the way like they're being pulled to the side by magnets. And they're just held perfectly up and outward. This is a workout for your shoulders. It's a stretch for your upper arms, for developing this new range of motion that you're developing, particularly associated with your posture. This is going to allow you to move your arms from an upright posture instead of your movements all reinforcing bad posture. So keep those arms lifted up. If you have the energy for it, let's lift just a little bit higher. This is a huge engagement for the top of your arms. My shoulders are really working here. They're on fire, red hot. Arms coming up. Keep those shoulder blades down and engaged. Arms up to the side. We're just gonna hold it here. We wanna find this edge and we wanna hold it, okay? Because this is the edge that we're pushing. This pose I'm holding right now, this is the kind of pose you should be able to hold forever. There shouldn't be a limitation on you. So we're gonna work on holding it for a long time. We're gonna lift up a little bit more and we'll bring it down. We're gonna go all the way down to try to get a smooth movement where it's all the way supported. Now when you're down, you can take a breath, relax, but then engage your shoulder blades to bring your shoulders back into their sockets and lift your arms very slowly up in your expanded range of motion. Make sure you have the right muscle activation all the way up to keep your shoulder blades engaged. If I'm lifting with just my shoulder blades, I can't really get any farther than here. Once I get any farther than here, I start curving my posture over to access different muscles. But we're trying to connect the muscles right now that will maintain an upright posture. So keep your shoulders back and only go as high as you can go naturally. Hold it here. You want to activate these muscles for as long as you can because you want your body to normalize this, right? We're not using a lot of weight because we're not trying to lift a lot of weight right now. We're just trying to get your body to a point where it can support itself through its range of motion. And that is something that we're all lacking. We can't support our entire range of motion. I'm bringing my arms down to rest. We can't support our entire range of motion. And that leaves us open to injuries and health problems, physical health problems, because we're not one full integrated active system. There's gaps in us, there's disconnections. So what we're doing is trying to remedy all of the disconnections that we have in our body and in the support system that is our body, so that we can support ourselves in any position that we choose. That's the goal. Okay, we're in tabletop here. Feet active, toes pushing into the ground and spread out. We're just looking for that nice light activation of how your shoulders would be in a plank. So you want to bring your shoulder blades together. You're activating the connections between your shoulder blades and your pecs and your arms, this whole system that lifts you up and pushes you down, or lowers you down. We're just going to hold this tabletop for a little bit here. Should be feeling it in your upper arms. All right. Come back onto your heels and we're going to come up onto our feet. Right now my head's going to be out of frame, but the important part is my legs, and that's what's going to be in frame. All right. Nice hip width knees. I have them pointed pretty much straight forward here. I tend to splay out like this, and I as long as you're bending your knee in the direction that your foot is moving, you're going to be okay for injury. So stand however is comfortable for you. For me, I have my toes pointed out, part way. And I'm going to come down slowly into a squat. Really slow because we want this to be all glute activation. And we don't want our knees to be feeling any pressure. So lean back and activate your glutes. We're not trying to go super low here, okay? We're just getting to a place where our muscles are activated, because what we want to do here is we're going to hold it for a while. And we're going to move very slowly in between this fully extended upright state that I'm moving into now, and Slowly supporting all the way down into a squat. And this should allow you to feel if there's any places where you don't have total support in this movement. And if you don't have total support in this very slow, gentle movement from about halfway down to all the way up, then doing full squats is only part of what you need, because there's a lot of connecting muscles in between that are not developed, and you don't want to hurt yourself. You gotta develop these muscles. Leaning back as much as you need to keep the activation in your butt. Your outside of your legs. You don't want your knees to hurt here. All right, lifting up. Oh. All right, standing back on the mat. Give it a little shake. Give it a little shake. Get back. All right, we're gonna bring our right foot to the front of the mat. Left foot back into a nice wide triangle. We're gonna lower into a lunge. Primary thing to focus on here is that your hips are square. So pull your back leg tight and pull it toward the front of the mat. And then you should be feeling the activation in the front of your thighs. And that'll come along with a stretch of opening your hips so that your hips stay perfectly square forward to back. So that's the back leg activation. Pull it forward. Front leg, bring it all the way to straight. Activate from the glute. And then slowly, keeping that muscle activation, bend it. Let's do that a couple of times. Keep your whole right leg engaged and slowly go in between straightened and bent. Leaning forward a bit to get a nice stretch on the back of this leg. All right, I'm coming up to rest here, and I'm going to work on stretching this leg because I've got some really tight stuff going on the outside of this leg, and I want to give it a little bit more stretching today. Stretching and using my muscles to extend that range of motion. See, I want, when I extend the muscles to their full capacity of engagement, you engage them all the way you stretch it to capacity, then whatever's on the other side of that, the muscle on the other side needs to be long enough that it's not restricting your strength and your other muscles. So for me, the muscles that it takes to straighten this leg get limited by the fact there's other tight muscles in here that won't extend as far as I can push them. So really what I want is I want those two forces to match. The amount that I can push with my strength versus the amount that my body will move with stretching. That's what we want, which means you don't want to be able to stretch anywhere that you can't support, but you also don't need support for places you can't stretch to. Because if I have more support than the other muscles have to stretch to it, then those muscles are going to be tight and they're going to be pulling, and muscles are going to get overemphasized that they shouldn't be because they're not all working together and harmonized ideally. So, using your muscle to fully straighten this leg and find the place where the tightness is and hold on to it nice and gentle and don't let it go. Just hold it, and you can ease it in and out of the intensity of the stretch, but keep it always under some stretch. Always stretching it. I'm just moving where the emphasis is. And I'm gently moving through its range of motion so that I can get a nice evenly distributed stretch for the whole range that muscle group can move in. Stretching shouldn't just be in one direction, right? Like you find a nice stretch, you can slowly move around that whole area, and you can be stretching the same muscle, but as you twist, you get a whole other side of it, and that's really good because that twist you're doing is a range of motion that your body can go to, and if your body goes there in life and you don't have the muscles to fully support that, it's going to lead to twists and like leaks in energy, right? You don't, they're gaps. Yeah, they're gaps. I'm not sure exactly how that works in the body. I know how it works in life though a little bit. It's like if you have gaps, energy leaks out and dirt gets in the machine. And so what we're doing is we're trying to mesh together the whole support structure that is your muscles perfectly over your whole body so that you're always holding it in a supported way and weight is never being dumped into places that it shouldn't be. That's what we want to establish. All right, we're coming up onto the right leg here. Now that we have all that muscle is so used to being active right now that I can hold it and I can feel that it's the same muscle, the same kind of pathway that I was just stretching is now the one that's engaged in holding this position. And that's really good because it's one that is underused and I'm trying to bring it online so that my whole leg is functioning properly. All right, that's getting hard. I'm gonna stand up onto that right leg, support it all the way. All right, we're just gonna hold this one leg balance for another few seconds. You can bring your left leg up to 90 degrees. Keep your right hip active and pushing down so your body is pressing up toward the ceiling, core is engaged. And your whole glute calf, this whole upper leg is engaged in holding your weight. Back straight. Your ankle could be feeling it now too, your calves, or the front of your calves, kind of all muscles in there, all these support muscles for the ankle and knees are all getting super activated when you have to hold on one leg like this and not dump into your hips or anything. But that's what we want. We want those muscles to know how to be active so they can support us in our daily lives. All right, we're gonna come back down on 2 feet. And we're gonna take our right foot to the back. So same thing, other side. Yeah, so we wanna get into a high lunge here, hips squared forward, and so not turned out at all, but squared right forward, and get the front of that right leg stretching here. Find somewhere, maybe you bend your right knee a little bit, pull it forward, do whatever you need around here to find a supported position where you can get a nice stretch through the front of that right leg, right upper leg. And balance. We're gonna get nice and still here. Legs can be gently squeezing together to further activate the front of your right leg and your glutes on both legs. All right. We're gonna come forward into that triangle stretch we were doing on the other side. So get the front leg bent with your back. Oh, wow. Yeah, arch your back or bring it to as flat as you can get it, and then come down onto your leg, keeping that straight back, not letting your lower back curve at all. So this pulls the bottom of your leg backward, tightens everything. So this is about as far as I can stretch, and I feel the place where the tension is. I feel there's one particular pathway or tendon that's going through there. that is inflexible right here. So that's where my focus is. I'm going to hold on to that pathway. I'm going to feel it stretching, and I'm going to gently move around its edge and try to find the edge of my range of motion there, and keep a nice gentle activated stretch along the edge of that range of motion. It's like you're mapping a shoreline or something here. You gotta pay attention to the sensation of the stretch so that you do nice rounded stretching around the outside of that range of motion, and you slowly, gradually enlarge it, and you do it in a smooth way so that you can move in 360 degrees supported. That's the goal. So keep on finding your edge of that muscle. Yeah, we're gonna stay here for a little while. This is just a little exploration. We want to get this section activated. These are the things that are not usually activated. These are underused. Whatever you're feeling you're stretching right now, it's underused because it's what's preventing your range of motion. It's what's preventing your leg from straightening. And you want your whole leg to be able to accept the same position that you're giving it. If one side of your leg is stretching enough to go all the way straight, but the other side is tight, it's going to be pulled in that direction of the tightness. It knocks everything out of alignment, and it's not good. So, keep it active. Take some deep breaths while you're at it. All right. We're going to come up onto that left leg now. Keep upper leg fully activated here. You feel it in your butt, that muscle that connects and goes all the way down through your leg. Hips nice and square. Keep that upper leg activation. All right, bring it down. Whew. All right. Some good stretching in the legs. Good stretching and strengthening that whole time your muscles are active. What we're doing here, the way we're building strength is by engaging muscles for a long time, right? Our goal isn't to be able to lift a lot of weight. Our goal is to be able to support ourselves forever, right? We don't need to be able to lift anything heavier than ourselves. If you can lift yourself, you can lift something pretty heavy. So you want to be able to support yourself. All right, we're gonna come down onto the ground and we're gonna do some planks, side planks, and we're gonna have some fun with our glutes again. Have some glute fun. All right, come down into a forearm plank, and we're gonna go straight into it. All right, activate in your core. Bring your pelvis towards your face to shorten the front of your body and lengthen the back of your lower body, of your lower torso. Abs are tight. Let your shoulders sink back into their sockets a little bit so your chest comes a little bit forward. And stay active. See if you can take nice, slow, calm breaths while you're fully activating your core. Your core will eventually be strong enough to hold you in this position for a very long time. So you can teach your body that it's okay for it to feel like this by pushing nice deep breaths into it while it's doing this exercise. All right, and whew. That was a good one. Whew. Core is super active here. All right, we're gonna come down onto our side. That was a great hold. We're gonna come down onto our sides here. Oh, you can kind of massage the outside of your hip there, massage your glutes from all that work we were just doing. All right, and come down onto your side. Legs straight out the side. We're just gonna lift our outer leg here, okay? That's gonna strengthen those same muscles that are connecting everything in this area. And that's absolutely vital. It's gonna help us so much with our support, with our stability. All right, so you can activate the left leg, the leg that's on the ground, you can activate. And then from that place of activation in your leg and in your core, you can start to raise your top leg. Make sure your toes are pointing straight forward or even a little bit down. And that'll make sure that the outside of your leg is what's getting activated here. So remember, we're gonna just hold this for quite a long time, okay? We're gonna hold it until it really starts to burn, until we really feel it. And then we're gonna do a little bit of range of motion exploring with it, okay? So we're gonna move around the area to ease the strain on this exact pose and the muscle and the exact way that muscle activation happens to support this, right? So we want to explore the whole range of motion. So that's going to include moving a little bit forward and back, and we're going to come down and go in some nice circles. Not in a rush here, okay? You want to hold this for a long time. That's what this whole practice is about. It's about being able to hold yourself up forever, right? So you don't need to lift anything super heavy. Body's heavy enough. Hold it up for 5 minutes. In this kind of position, it's hard feet. All right, going up and down. Nice smooth muscle activation the whole way. So we're not letting it go on a jerky path. We're not trying to use momentum. We're going nice and slow, developing that whole range of support. All right, should be really starting to burn now. If it's not, you should be lifting your leg higher for your holds and higher for the top of your lifts. All through the outside of your leg, you can feel it here. All right, we've been moving, we're gonna bring it down now. Whew. Yeah. Okay. Bring this knee out in front, put the foot on the ground. On your side. Now your bottom leg is going to come up. Keep it nice and straight. You want to activate the inner side of the leg here. Now, if you want to make this harder, which I don't know why you would, but if you want to make it harder, you can come up onto your forearm here, onto your elbow, so that your torso is at an angle, and keep your torso nice and straight. Now you'll notice if you try to lift this leg, I can't even get mine off the ground here, from here barely. So I'll lower a little bit down, get that angle down, and then lift from here. And now I'm getting purely the inside of that leg. The muscle that would engage to pull my two legs together. It's very active here and it's very weak. It does not have the power to hold this up, so we're gonna hold it up for as long as we can. We're gonna move forward and backward. Try to feel around this muscle. You wanna get it from all the sides you can get it at to get a nice, evenly distributed development of strength. All right, hold it up, hold it up. You burning yet? I certainly am. Go for as hard as long as you can. If you need to rest it, bring it down. All right, that's enough. Very good. My goodness. All right, come around on the other side. And now on your side, we're going to do the exact same thing. Activate the right leg so that it's pushing gently, but into the ground, pushing gently into the ground. And then your left leg slowly lifts up. Keeping your feet pointed forward because the tendency for me at least is to open my hips out a bit, and that transfers the weight to this front section of my leg, which is a little bit stronger, but I want it to, if you turn your foot downward, then the emphasis goes onto the back side of your leg and your glutes, which is what I'm primarily targeting with this exercise. So if this feels good to you, if this feels like that muscle is weak and it does need this, then you can emphasize turning your hips inward. So that would mean turning your top foot either exactly parallel or towards the ground. But of course you can explore that range. Explore that range, find where it is that has the least support and focus on that. Building support for your entire range. So it's a great thing to find which positions you don't have the support for, because now you know how to expand, you know where to expand to. And as you fill in those gaps, you unlock greater and greater range of motion, which is what we are aiming for here. We're going to unlock our support through our maximized range of motion. And it's not just about range of motion, that would be just stretching. It's also about the support. It's more about the support, right? You want whatever your range of motion is, it's more important to get full support in that range than to expand that range through stretching. So we're doing both at the same time. We want to add support in places where we don't have it. So now we're on this left leg here, engaging the glute. You can go around in circles. You can go up and down. You can talk really fast because you're working so hard. Or take some deep breaths. All right. Oh, that was hard. It was a good one. All right. Top foot comes forward, and you're gonna now be lifting your bottom leg upward. And if you want to make it harder, like I said, you can lift your torso up. You see when I lift my torso up, my leg automatically goes down because I don't have the support in this inner thigh to pull it upward. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on using my inner thigh to pull it upward. Foot nice and parallel to the ground. If you're settling into a different position because it's easier, and I'm not saying you're doing that on purpose, it just naturally happens. You settle into the places that you have support for. But right now we're not trying to do that. Right now we're trying to specifically find the places we don't have support for and work them. Give them the attention that they haven't been getting in your life. And then they'll start to pay you back dividends by supporting you. That's really a pretty good deal. All right, we're holding here. We're holding here. If you have your torso up, make sure you're engaged through this side of your core. You should feel the connection all the way through from your leg up through into your back and your side. It's all connected through there, and we want to build those connections because the different parts of our body, different muscle groups get kind of detached from each other if we don't have an exercise that takes us through our range of motion. But what we're trying to do is reconnect all those parts that are not well connected. All right, that's good. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, come down and do a cobbler's pose. Feet together, butterfly. How this looks for you will depend on your hips. My hips open very nicely, and I can get my legs pretty wide without too much trouble. So find, like I've been saying, find the edge for you, find the place where the stretch is, find where is it that's being limited when you pull here, and then find that place that's the least able to move into the position that you're trying to move into, and focus on it. So for me, right now this is primarily strengthening for me, strengthening up through the tops and insides of my legs here to hold my back straight and hold this position up with my muscles. I'm not dumping into the floor right now. My legs are holding themselves up. All right, now I'm gonna relax down. I'm gonna get a little bit more space here. I push my elbows into my inside of my knees here to get a nice stretch through the outside of my upper leg. Find those places. This can be a really good feeling stretch if you find the right places. Find somewhere that's stretchy, find somewhere that you're feeling a stretch and feel around it. Slow, just go real slow and explore the edges of where that tightness will allow you to move. And as you do that, you're loosening the edges of that tightness so that it can stop pulling on other things and be reintegrated into the system that is your body. It's got a job that it is able to do very well that it's not doing because of muscle disalignments and some muscles being overused while others are underemployed. Yeah. Oh. Find the edge. All right. Very good. Very, very, very good. Very, very, very good. We're gonna come up onto your feet here. Nice forward fold. Your butt pulled back and up so that you have a perfectly flat spine right up against your legs. Find the edge on your legs. For me, it's on this outer kind of tendon you can feel connecting here on your knees. For me, it's right in that outer one on both sides. That's where the stretch is. So I'm gently pushing in to that movement that stretches the edge. Stretches the edge. Doing that on both legs. So gently kind of pedaling your legs in this forward fold. For me, I get all the way to the ground because I'm relatively flexible and I have very long arms. But if you can't reach all the way down to the ground and you're up here, that's perfectly good. You can bring your hands together. Or you can just hang them, but don't let it curve your spine over. Stay straight up. In your spine, that is. And this is an active engagement. This is a workout position. You're pushing with the muscles to straighten your legs. And don't push too hard and don't let them twist in order to accommodate the tightness of your muscles. You want to go through the path of tightness. Wherever your tightness is, you want to lean into that and not go any farther than you can go with it. maybe push a little bit deeper. We're going to be holding this for a while. So you can go into more intensity and then release yourself back into slightly less intensity. Just make sure that whole process happens smoothly with support at every stage. You can experiment with twisting your upper body toward the left and straightening your right leg slowly to find different areas of this stretch, to find other angles where tightness is stopping your movement. And just slowly stretch them. Move slowly in and out of them, never leaving support in place. You always want to be supported in your stretches. Same thing on the other side. Find a nice edge of your range and slowly explore it. You're mapping it out. You're walking the shoreline. You're doing it slow. It's a long process, but it doesn't have to be that long if you really commit yourself to it. If you're really engaged in this process of expanding your range of motion and stretching and getting your whole body integrated into one smooth system of strength and movement. If you're really dedicated to it and you spend time every day, it's not about how long your workout is exactly, it's about how well you're using your workout, right? You want every moment of it to be engaged as much as you can. You want to remember to come back and be in your body because you're actively exploring something. You're exploring edges. They're just not the kind that you can see. They're the kind that you actually feel in your muscles. And if you want to do that effectively, it takes an active awareness. It takes you intentionally doing it and finding the edges and feel into them and strengthen what you need to strengthen. It's something that only you can do from the inside. But it's helpful to have a set of foundational postures that you use. Like yoga is a really good foundation because it gets you acquainted with your body being in certain poses. And then as you learn to move in and out of those poses, you can do it in a way that supports the range in the entire, that supports your body in the entire range. So as you're moving between a lunge and then up onto one leg, you learn to have support through the changing of shapes. So that's what this is kind of for. I'm just putting down some foundational shapes that you can move through, and I'm doing them in the real time that I do them. Now I have a fair amount of time on my hands these days, and and this work is one of my priorities, so I spend a lot of time doing it. So that's why these videos are fairly long, because I want to spend as much time as I can engaged so that I'm growing and laying stabler and stabler foundations for whatever is to come. And I don't always know how to lay stabler foundations in other areas, but with the physical body, it's incredibly simple. It's just, it can be hard, but it's simple. All you have to do is find the edge and support it and grow it until your entire range of motion is encapsulated and supported. So I'm working on my hip flexors now, front of the legs. Extending one and then the other, making sure it's all supported, making sure my back and my core are engaged, making sure I'm not feeling any pain or pressure, I'm actually going to come back onto my arms here just to take a little bit of the weight out of my low back. And I'm going to keep working on my upper legs, my hip flexors, in this lifting one leg at a time, supported the whole way. All right, coming out of that. Come on your knees. Real quick here. I've been working a lot on this front of the legs just now. We're gonna take the knees out to the width of the yoga mat and get a nice lean back here. Open up the front of the hips, groin, top of the legs. Don't be dumping your weight anywhere. If you're putting your weight in your shoulders, in your elbows, I mean, make sure it's supported all the way through. Keep a good posture. Find the nice stretch. This is another really nice feeling stretch. So you can do some twists from side to side to move around, to move the stretch around with that muscle a little bit. All right. Well done. Gonna call it right there. That was a good one. Lots of engagement. Very nice.